Joining us today is Steve Feinberg. He joins us. He's an instructor at Equinox, where I've worked out. I worked out there for many years.
Great.
And the founder of Speedball Fitness. So, Steve, you're talking to Andrew Williamson. He's your money man.
Andrew Williamson.
But tell us all about the product.
Okay, well, the product is not only the class methodology, but the ball that we're developing with it. It's a little bit of both. There's two different revenue streams. So the class is something that we're training instructors to teach in different places, so the business model is sort of infinite that way, number one. And number two is the ball that goes with it. And ball's great. And I was listening to Randy talk before, which is awesome because he's talking about how many iterations of something you have to make. This is definitely not the first and not the last of the iterations. It's just the idea behind making a ball of a different texture that holds a different way, that's not meant to be used for impact, but meant to be used specifically for the class. So you have those two aspects of making money through fitness.
Okay, but talk a bit more about it. I mean, it's different from a medicine ball because...
Because of the texture, because it'll be grippable. It's going to be made of a different type of material, so it won't be used for slamming and impacting. We hold on to the ball the entire time in my class, so it's more like playing and throwing. Does that make sense?
And, and with the class, where is it? How widely distributed is it? Who's teaching it and where?
Yeah, that's the fun part. So it's in New York City and it's at Equinox, which you guys know is the most competitive market and competitive club to instruct at. And we've already shown that we can make it replicable by training instructors. It just launched in Germany and Switzerland about a month ago, which I'm really excited about. And we partnered with a company that trains fitness professionals there. So over the next couple of months, we should see growth in the speedball movement.
Before you get to Andrew, one more thing. Is this weighted?
It will be, yeah.
Okay, so what makes this different than, say, me holding free weights?
Oh, well, free weights will close your hand, put it in a closed position. After a while, that's going to fry your hand pretty quickly. And again, it's the same problem as the current medicine balls in the market. They're hard.
They're hard to hold.
This will be easier. It'll be grippable. You'll actually be able to compress and get positive pressure, which also activates other muscle groups, too. It's pretty cool.
Okay. Andrew, fire away.
Hi, Steve.
Andrew, how are you?
Let me start by saying, I'm very good, thanks.
Good.
Congratulations. I took a look at your website last night, and I think the first thing I'd like to say is, you're obviously making great progress in a very difficult market. We've invested in the health and fitness sector in a number of different ways, and it's been challenging, particularly over the last couple of years with the credit constraints. I think you're in the right sector of the market, which is the very capital-efficient type businesses. You don't want to be selling very expensive pieces of equipment right now, for example, but medicine balls and low-cost things is probably the way to go.
I hope so.
I have really, I have kind of two classes of questions for you. The first would be around kind of the business model and the business models you've got, and the second would be around kind of intellectual property.
Fire
so why don't we start with the first one? I think my question / recommendation to you would be, you listed a number of different things, right? You're running the training program. I saw on your website you're certifying other people to do the training.
Yep.
You might franchise out these programs. You're also selling equipment. You mentioned maybe generating some content around DVDs and some stuff online.
Absolutely.
So you've got a lot of things going on, all of which have different business models. And so I think what I would want to do with you, or I would advise you to do with, say, an angel investor or a business partner, is sit down and look very carefully at each of those potential business models and figure out, what are the margins, what are the growth prospects, what's the scalability of each of those. And some or all or none of them may be suitable for venture financing, some of them may be suitable for more kind of angel financing, and some of them you may not want to go into at all. And so it's really a bit of an open-ended question, but just to get you to expand a little bit more on how you're going to focus down from all the things you could do to the one or two that make sense to start with and you think will give you the best growth. Great.
Thank you for that.
Next. Do you have another?
Okay.
Yeah, a second set of questions.
I'll give you the second question straight off as well. All right, so the second set of questions around intellectual property. This seems to me like a business or a business model that is not very strong on, say, patents and things. So you're basically building a brand. You're maybe building it around you, around the Speedball name and the way that you're using it. So the first thing I did last night was go online and Google Speedball.
Right.
And the top 3 hits were, there's a soccer game around this. There's a paintball game around this.
Paintball supply, right, yeah.
And then I'm showing my age, but when you talk about Speedball, I also think about people like Chris Farley.
Yes, so, I understand.
There's some...
Your age?
Or Belushi.
That's the first thing Deegan and I thought of, so apparently we're all the same age, Andrew.
We actually get that a lot, Andrew. It's pretty funny. We get that, yeah. And part of
so I saw that you've got you got a service mark already, Steve, right? I mean,
Yes.
so I guess you're pushing towards a registered trademark. Why don't you start there? Talk a bit about how you're going to brand Speedball, make it a positive branding, and build on that.
Well, what we've done is we're registering the logo, which we think is the most important thing because we think it's charismatic and recognizable. As far as intellectual property and fitness, as you well know, and probably everybody in the world does at this point, there's nobody who can't walk into your room, take a class, and try and steal your moves. I mean, there's just nothing you can do about it. It's very open competition. But what you can do is you can copyright your manual. You can copyright your format. And once you have that, and it's replicable if you're instructing it, and very difficult to copy off of eyesight because it doesn't make any sense from the outside, it makes it easy to say, don't accept imitators, or, we're the innovators, that kind of thing. So what we're pushing for is to separate ourselves from other general medicine ball conditioning classes, because if you come to one of our experiences or you get our experience at home, what you have is a system that makes sense, with some room for improvisation on top of it, so the instructors win and the students win, but it's hard to copy without guidance. That's basically what how we're branding it. And then we're just branding.
And I would just throw in there, just before you move on, I mean, you have a great comp in this sector, which I think the girls were talking about Bikram Yoga a little earlier in the show.
Right.
That's a copyrighted business, which is very profitable, and you may want to take a deeper look at that.
And that's what he did. He copyrighted his sequence, because you obviously can't own something that's 10,000 years old, but if you have everything in a very specific order, that is your thing, and that's exactly what I'm doing with my method. I have a very specific order and then room to improvise on top of that. And people actually get to progress as they come to class, and you see some skill improvements, which is important too.
Randy, you want to jump in?
Yeah, I mean, it's first of all, congratulations on
Thank you, Randy.
On getting some lift, because believe me, when I when I came out with the idea of, hey, I'm going to revolutionize the fitness industry using your body weight and this harness. I didn't get a hugely receptive response from guys like Andrew. So the fact that he's giving you any positive
that might have
props.
thrown them off.
Sorry.
Yeah, but so I think one of the important points that I would toss out for you, it's been a analogy that's been very helpful to me, is the concept of the microscope versus the telescope. And what I think you need to do, and I heard Andrew mention it, and it's really, really important, is you're going to have to, look up at the microscope up closely, and by that I mean pick the thing that you really, your business, the success or failure of it, hinges on, and really develop that. Make sure you understand the full competitive landscape. Make sure that you're not creating a solution for which there really is no problem, because you are in a heavily competed space, and there are, I can think of half a dozen brands off the top of my head that are in the group choreography.
Absolutely.
Some around a tool, some around just your body
business,
who have big head starts. So, the ability to zoom in at the microscope level, and then also to pull back, because if you're going to be pitching investors for growth capital, which you will have to do if you intend to grow, they want to see focus on the first priority of the business, but then they also want to see a vision that if this works, how does it scale up? The one other thing that I would, I guess, encourage you to think about, which has been key to our success, the ladies were talking earlier about the fact that the TRX is all these different places. It's on the sporting field, it's in gyms, it's in the home environment, it's in the physical therapy space. Our business really is a B2B to C business model. And so you have to make sure that, you're selling into the gatekeepers. In your case, it's the gyms. But think about, well, all right, how does that scale up? If this works and I can protect this class and I can develop it and make it really sing, then where does it go? And I'm sure you've thought about that, but I'd think hard, because the first thing an investor is going to do after they finish beating you up on focus and protectability is say, all right, let's assume this works.
Where does it go? Right. Can I give you what I have on that so far? What we've done so far.
I'd love to hear it. I don't,
Yeah, what we've done so far is we've taken it not only into the group exercise setting, but we've also used it for private one-on-one training with athletes, with professional athletes, professional boxers. We're the dryland conditioning program for the Columbia varsity women's swim team. So we've put it in a sports setting. We have some empirical results to back up the fact that their times have dropped, their performance has increased. We have a high school program at Marymount High School. We run a kids program at the JCC. So we've worked with some different ages outside of your general group fitness studio and shown that from kids to adults, everybody doesn't mind playing with the ball.